Quantum Summit 2 coming up, right? What inspired you? Because that, as we know, you had one last year, right?
Hmm.
This second one. But what was your overall inspiration for creating the Quantum Summit, and how did the vision first take place?
Well, I want to really try to look at the political sphere, if you will, and try to sort of gauge where we're headed. And now that we finally got Donald Trump back and looking at all the different, speakers out there, podcasters talking about different subjects, and I've been invited to quite a few of these live events around the country, and I've participated in a few of them. They're just too one-dimensional, and I said it needs to be more like fourth dimension, fifth dimension, where there's multiple subjects where we talk about the quantum financial system, and also the fact that we want to get off the four rubber tires, and we want our flying cars, and the fact that we want our life extension technology. And so now here we have people like Patrick Bet David from PBD talking about the 6,000 patents, which is DOGE, Department of GESARA, as I like to call it. And it's here, it's knocking the door. When you got people that are worth, hundreds of millions of dollars talking about the 6,000 patents, I said, okay, we're on the right track. So I mean, I enjoyed being at some of these events, but I think they're short-sighted in the fact that they're only talk about the quantum financial system. People are not going to just come there to want to talk about, listen to a bunch of people talking about a bunch of people getting rich. But what are we going to do with the money after we get rich is what I want to know. And that's where I come in, and I sort of like to bring in, it's like sort of like I'm an artist, and I bring in the speakers, and the speakers are the paint, and I'm sort of painting the picture by putting different people with different subjects on stage, if that makes any sense. It's crazy. Don't try to figure it out.
Okay. And, I would agree with you that a lot of these events are one dimensional. Like some of them go straight down the path of geopolitics, or they'll just hit financial. So why don't you tell everyone, what are these different areas that we're going to be covering and presenting during the summit?
Absolutely. We have, for example, Sean Taylor, who is a deputy sheriff from Kentucky, I believe. And there was a big story that broke there where there was some CEOs and with trucking companies moving little ones in the trucks, and the sheriff's department and the state police and the local police department and everybody who wore a badge and a gun got called into the meeting saying you're not allowed to pull these guys over. If you do, you're going to forfeit your pension. That is an interesting subject based on the fact that we know what's going on. That industry's become bigger than the drug industry. So yes, this guy is going to be on stage. We got Mark Fincham, who works directly with Sean Taylor, who's interviewed him numerous times, who's also pro crypto. We got also Representative Leo Biasucci, who also works with Senator Mark Fincham, who also is a pro crypto guy, and they're writing a pro crypto bill. So being that we're also financial, let's have those guys on stage. We got the great Jason Shurka. He's going to be on stage explaining this technology to the world, because the technology works. How do I know that? I happen to own it. And we got people that couldn't get pregnant, for example, who came and slept in the system for 2 nights, went home and got pregnant. That works. Okay. We got the great Dr. Jan Halper Hayes, who talks literally about everything from the cabal to the political sphere to, what happened in the past, what's happening in the present. We got Thomas Althouse, who is the original guy who wrote The Matrix, the movie The Matrix, except Warner Brothers stole it and gave it to the Chayefsky brothers. I forget those guys' names. So we got everybody we got Kerry Cassidy, who, by the way, your interview was freaking awesome. It's got over 12,000 views. Obviously, if the algorithms were playing fair, that video would have gotten 112,000 views, right? We got the great Rob Cunningham, who is an expert on NESARA and GESARA. We got Laura Eisenhower, who is going to probably be on a panel with Kerry Cassidy and Ishmael Perez. We got this lady Mariah Prusi with Pat Militech, who are going to be working with RFK regarding fixing the dirt and putting the nutrients back in the dirt and cleaning up the air and having organic food, which is going to be the standards, and they're not going to be able to put coloring in your food anymore and poison you. So we got a broad spectrum of all kinds of subjects all under one roof. And yes, we're going to have our flying cars, and yes, we're going to have our life extension technology, because that's where Mel Carmine sees the future going. So why not bring all these people on one stage and let's talk about and let's paint the picture of how the future is going to be.
Okay, I love it. So, we're talking health, wellness, technology, governance,
Yes.
spirituality, laws and order, saving the little ones, trafficking issues, global finance,
Yes.
crypto. I mean, we've got a huge, and then I actually just want to backtrack for 1 second, take a little look back at Quantum Summit 1. And I wanted to just ask you a question to sort of springboard to the Quantum Summit 2. What was, at that point, the most rewarding part of bringing together people last year? Because I want to ask you then, where we're going this year. What was the most rewarding part about that summit last year?
Before we get started, folks, make sure you hit the pause button. Okay, go down below. There's a Rumble link. Go over to Rumble and follow us over there. QFS1776.com is, without question, the holy grail of what's to come. Okay, T-shirts. You got to get yourself decorated. This way, people will ask you, what is XRP? What is the quantum financial system? What is this? What is that? And you send them where? To QFS1776.com. where they need to immerse themselves, because we're going to burn down this system down to the ground. And out of the ashes will rise the phoenix. There will be nothing to go back to. Believe me when I tell you that. Also, our Telegram groups down below. If you want to learn what's coming and you're sort of a little scared, I understand. Believe me, I was there too at one point. And if you need more than $10,000 worth of XRP or $1 million worth of XRP, you come see me. Send me an email at QFS1776@gmail. And we'll get you as much as you want. Gold and silver. Welcome to Carmine'sGold.com. Don't waste not even a second looking. Cheaper prices just don't exist. How important is it for you to own gold and silver right now? What does it mean to me personally? There's an economy that's about to crash beyond what words can explain. In 5 words, I'm going to educate you on gold and silver. Are you ready? You need to own some. Simple.
Hey, Elisa here. We all know that legal matters can be costly and stressful. Finding the right representation and dealing with high retainers and hourly bills adds up fast. But what if I told you there's a way to have legal insurance just like your health or car insurance? Legal Shield has leveled the playing field. From just $29.95 a month, you get access to lawyers for personal legal matters. From traffic tickets to real estate issues or trust matters, help is just a tap away on your phone. Call or text 516-493-1742 and use code Elisa Legal to start your journey to legal protection today.
Hello and welcome. We are here on the Mel Carmine Show. I'm your host, Elisa V. We've got a really special show tonight because I have the honor of interviewing our host of the show, Mel Carmine. And we thought it would be a really special treat to put Mel in the hot seat to talk all about the Quantum Summit 2, which is quickly approaching, taking place in Cape Canaveral on March 8th and 9th. Mel, hi.
Hey, how are you, man? You're doing a great job, by the way.
Oh, thank you. I'm loving it. And I'm just so honored to be able to be your co-host here. Just so many amazing things, so many great things happening. And it's so amazing for me to be part of this team. So, all right, here we are. We are currently Wednesday, February 19th. Do you know how many days away the Quantum Summit is? I'm sure you do. It's 17 days away.
From today.
How cool is that? To
That's
be having
amazing.
this conversation. Yeah.
And 9 and 8 also equals 17.
That's right. That's
Yeah.
right. And I was actually,
Yeah.
you took the words right out of my mouth, because I was going to say we've got a little thing going here with 17, especially when you consider the dates that
Yeah.
this summit is taking place. So, all right, we've got Quantum Summit 2 coming up, right? What inspired you? Because that, as we know, you had one last year, right?
Mhm.
This second one. But what was your overall inspiration for creating the Quantum Summit, and how did the vision first take place?
Well, I want to really try to look at the political sphere, if you will, and try to sort of gauge where we're headed. And now that we finally got Donald Trump back, and looking at all the different, speakers out there, podcasters talking about different subjects. And I've been invited to quite a few of these live events around the country, and I've participated in a few of them. Uh, they're just too one dimensional, and I said it needs to be more like fourth dimension, fifth dimension, where there's multiple subjects where we talk about the quantum financial system, and also the fact that we want to get off the four rubber tires and we want our flying cars, and the fact that we want our life extension technology. And so now here we have people like Patrick Bet David from PBD talking about the 6,000 patents, which is DOGE, Department of Gesara, as I like to call it. And it's here. It's knocking on the door. When you got people that are worth, hundreds of millions of dollars talking about the 6,000 patents, I said, okay, we're on the right track. So I mean, I enjoyed being at some of these events, but I think they're short-sighted in the fact that they're only talk about the quantum financial system. People are not going to just come there to want to talk about, listen to a bunch of people talking about a bunch of people getting rich. What are we going to do with the money after we get rich is what I want to know. And that's where I come in, and I sort of like to bring in, it's like sort of like I'm an artist, and I bring in the speakers, and the speakers are the paint, and I'm sort of painting the picture by putting different people with different subjects on stage, if that makes any sense. It's crazy. Don't try to figure it out.
Okay. And, I would agree with you that a lot of these events are one dimensional. Like some of them go straight down the path of geopolitics, or they'll just hit financial. So why don't you tell everyone what are these different areas that we're going to be covering and presenting during the summit?
Absolutely. We have, for example, Sean Taylor, who is a deputy sheriff from Kentucky, I believe. And there was a big story that broke there where there was some, CEOs and with trucking companies moving little ones in the trucks, and the sheriff's department and the state police and the local police department and everybody who wore a badge and a gun got called into the meeting saying you're not allowed to pull these guys over. If you do, you're going to forfeit your pension. That is an interesting subject based on the fact that we know what's going on. That industry's become bigger than the drug industry. So yes, this guy is going to be on stage. We got Mark Fincham, who works directly with Sean Taylor, who's interviewed him numerous times, who's also pro crypto. We got also Representative Leo Biasucci, who also works with Senator Mark Fincham, who also is a pro crypto guy, and they're writing a pro crypto bill. So being that we're also financial, let's have those guys on stage. We got the great Jason Shirka, who is, went on his own now, separated from Dr. Sandra. It's a whole, it's a big debacle. There's lawyers involved. Just, you understand what I'm saying? And I'm not going to open up that can of worms here, but he's going to be on stage because he's got the rights to distribute supposedly this technology, which is a wonderful technology. The technology works, but it looks like Dr. Sandra may have sort of hijacked it, if you know what I mean, right? And so he's going to be on stage explaining this technology to the world, because the technology works. How do I know that? I happen to own it. And we got people that couldn't get pregnant, for example, who came and slept in the system for 2 nights, went home and got pregnant. That works. Okay. We got the great Dr. Jan Halper Hayes, who talks about literally about everything from the cabal to the political sphere to what happened in the past, what's happening in the present. We got Thomas Althouse, who is the original guy who wrote The Matrix, the movie The Matrix, except Warner Brothers stole it and gave it to the Chiosky brothers. I forget those guys' names. So we got everybody we got Kerry Cassidy, who, by the way, your interview was freaking awesome. It's got over 12,000 views. Doesn't surprise me. See, when you bring on the right kind of guest and you're interviewing them about subjects that people want to hear about, they tend to go like this, regardless of the algorithms. Obviously, if the algorithms were playing fair, that video would have gotten 112,000 views, right? We got the great Rob Cunningham, who is an expert on Nasara and Jasara. We got Laura Eisenhower, who is going to probably be on a panel with Kerry Cassidy and Ishmael Perez. We got this lady Mariah Prusi, with Pat Militech, who are going to be working with RFK regarding, fixing the dirt and putting the nutrients back in the dirt and cleaning up the air and having organic food, which is going to be the standards. And they're not going to be able to put coloring in your food anymore and poison you. So we got a broad spectrum of all kinds of subjects all under one roof. And yes, we're going to have our flying cars. And yes, we're going to have our, life extension technology, because that's where Mel Carmine sees the future going. So why not bring all these people on one stage and let's talk about and let's paint the picture of how the future is going to be.
Okay, I love it. So, we're talking health, wellness, technology, governance,
Yes.
spirituality, laws and order, saving the little ones, trafficking issues, global finance,
Yes.
crypto. I mean, we've got a huge, and then I actually just want to backtrack for 1 second, take a little look back at Quantum Summit 1. And I wanted to just ask you a question to sort of springboard to the Quantum Summit 2. What was, at that point, the most rewarding part of bringing together people last year? Because I want to ask you then, where we're going this year. What was the most rewarding part about that summit last year?
Well, the most rewarding part is that this has never been tried before, bringing all of these, subjects under one roof. And it was a risk on my part. But when you got people like, for example, like Kerry Cassidy praising you, and Louis Herms praising you, and General Tata, who's going to be there again this year, a three-star general praising you, and Jim Gale, who's going to show you how you can grow your own food in your own backyard instead of growing lawns, praising the fact that being able to put all of those subjects, even talking about the Galactic Federation, who we believe had a hand in handling this technology. The reason why we know that is why? Because Donald Trump put together what? Space Force. Space Force worked with who? The Galactic Federation. Where is the Galactic Federation and Space Force located? Right here in Melbourne, Florida. I mean, right down the street, So by putting all these subjects together, it was a risk, because maybe somebody that's into growing in food in your backyard might not really believe in the Galactic Federation, and you could have had people literally walk out on you, but it didn't. People's eyes got bigger than a baseball. And they're like, "Holy shit, this is good," and that's the kind of reaction we got. So I figured, why not do it again, except with maybe a few different speakers and put a couple of different ingredients in the sauce.
Okay. Yeah, I think that one of the things that is so amazing is that we actually get to see that when you've pulled all these different subjects together, like you said, you didn't know what was going to happen the first time around, right? Some
Mhm.
people might not align with certain things that were being said, but I think what one of the takeaways that I see is that you brought together so many different people, so many different subject matters, and what it did was it sort of ignited everyone to kind of go to another level and to open their eyes, their thoughts, whatever more to, things that maybe they didn't spend time with. Or we discovered that maybe some of those people that were in one lane really were interested in all these other lanes as well. And it was nice to know they can have access to that information in one spot. So how does your personal journey align with this mission? Because you can't really separate the Quantum Summit from Mel Carmine and Amber. And that together there's just, you could just tell this is such a passion for you guys for pulling this all together. How does this all align to your journey and your mission?
Well, look, it's not, first of all, you need like a bunch of volunteers. You can't do this by yourself. It requires a team. It's got a lot of moving parts. It's a logistical nightmare, to put it mildly. You have to sort of be able to understand the psychology of people and who matches, because I watch all of these people on the internet on their shows. So by bringing these people together under one roof, I know exactly who to match up who, and I'll be talking with you. And obviously, I think Amber has got a meeting with you and Victoria Reynolds on who to put who together, etc. Like, for example, Michael Jaco would be a great addition to a panel where they're going to be talking about the Galactic Federation right alongside Kerry Cassidy and Ishmael Perez and maybe someone else, So the journey is not easy because it's got a lot of moving parts. It's not an easy thing to pull off, especially when you're talking about all these different subjects. And to be quite honest with you, what drives me again is the fact that, I think we need to paint a picture of the future. This is why I dubbed myself. I'm the original founder, even though, by the way, he's missing, and hopefully he comes home safe. Ben Armstrong, who he was a Bitcoin Nancy guy. He was like bashing the living daylights out of XRP, and all of a sudden he's gone missing for like more than like 5 days now. Nobody knows where he's at. He's got some serious troubles in his life, and he dubbed himself the commander in chief. No, the supreme leader of the XRP army. Even though he bashed us for a very long time, now he's on board with the XRP. So when I met him in whatchamacallit in Atlanta, I introduced myself as I am the real commander in chief of the XRP Army 2.0. And he got a little nervous. My wife noticed that. And we got that on video. Oh, he goes, oh, you're the guy. Because I told him, I said, I'm the guy that you made a video of when I met Satoshi Nakamoto, AKA David Schwartz. So
Right.
you have to know how to really put this together. Yes, it's a big risk, but what really drives me and the vision and the passion is really more of I want to know what the future holds. So how can I bring in all these people that have that a vision for a specific area and sort of utilize them to paint the big broad picture that people can say, yeah, that makes sense. That's where we're all headed. I like this. I like the fact that I could live to be 1,000 years old, completely pain-free, completely, be still look like I'm still going to the gym, but I'm 586 years old, right? But I look like I'm 27, right? We're genetically inclined, for example, to be that, but because they have sprayed us with all these chemicals and poisoned our food and sprayed glyphosates and fungicides and herbicides and all kinds of shit on it. We don't grow. We don't get to, go beyond 80 years old, 85 years old. People think, oh my God, that guy died at 98 years old. No one in the last, 300 years has died of old age on planet Earth. So that's a problem. I want to get to the bottom of that problem. I want to know who's poisoning us, how you're poisoning us, and how do we fix the problem. So let's bring those people on stage. Let's tell the world these are the guys that have the answers to the solutions because they've studied a specific, thing like how to fix the dirt, how to clean the air, right? So all of this is coming. They have 6,000 patents. Don't you think out of 6,000 patents, for example, gee, they might have a couple of med beds or a couple of advanced, celestial chamber technology that can put the genetics back in the human body back to normal again? Absolutely. That drives me. Why? Because I want to see how far we can get. The most important thing is we have to eradicate the evil and kill it in such a way where we know for sure it never comes back. And we have to also make sure that we bring in somebody like an Eric Trump to take, sort of carry the baton forward. Because the beautiful thing is that he'll get Donald Trump Sr. as the consigliere, and we get Donald Trump for another 8 years behind the scenes. Wouldn't that be wonderful, right?
Yeah, absolutely. The other thing that dawned on me with who we have coming to the summit and topics, you spoke a lot about this idea of how we've been poisoned and how physically we have been harmed to not allow us to grow old and have really robust, healthy lives. But there's also the other side, and I think you've covered that as well with so many of the spiritual people that you have coming, and that is how they've also brainwashed us in so many ways to feel that we're limited and to make it like a self-fulfilling prophecy that we just assume that we're going to die young. We just assume we're going to get sick. So it's this combination. And I think with some of the spiritual people that you have, whether it's Laura Eisenhower who's coming, some of the other folks who understand the spiritual aspect of us, our DNA, and, in combination with the health, we're sort of taking like this very well-rounded approach to all that's required to start to learn about so that we could live the way, our creator meant us
It was
to.
meant to be. Exactly. Live the way it was meant to be, not with somebody trying to, change the algorithms on YouTube and Rumble, and they have a say in what we could say and what we can't say and not allow us to grow to our fullest potential. Somebody that dictates what kind of chemicals get sprayed on my broccoli and my cauliflower and my tomatoes and potatoes. I'm sorry. I don't want that. I want clean food. I want a level playing field from a monetary standpoint. I want a level playing field from a being able to speak freely. Okay. And if I'm threatening somebody and say, I'm going to go, do this to this guy and I'm going to kill his family. Yes. Then obviously there should be some guidelines there, right? I don't want to cause any bodily harm to anybody who comes on the airwaves and says that. Maybe that would be, sort of a point where, okay, you crossed the line, buddy. You're going to get your channel shut off. That would be condonable, if you will. But because I have a different point of view and I'm more leaning towards the right and I'm a pro gun guy, and I'm pro life guy, and you don't see my views, you're going to stifle because you're a bunch of Marxist organizations out there. No, the kibosh is coming down on you guys. You guys are going to be a laughing stock. I think personally, Donald Trump, not to get off track, but I'll try to get back on track here in a second. But I think Donald Trump is going to come down and say, you mess up one time, we get one complaint. After you say, okay, the algorithms have been fixed, Mr. Trump. Great. Wonderful. One complaint that somebody says, hey, they're stifling us again, and they come in and they verify that, $1 billion fine. The next one is a $5 billion fine. And the next one is we take your company and run it with Patriot programmers. And you lose your company. And you're going to either have to abide or you're going to have to go to, Russia. No, Russia's not Russia's more free than we are. Russia years ago. But you have to go to North Korea. You can operate in North Korea or Cuba. You can operate there. Obviously, these countries are going to be changed under Department of Jasara. This is all going to go away. But and we got also the great Chip from Live on the Chain, a show called On the Chain, and Jeff. They're coming down. We're trying to get the Bearable Bull. Unfortunately, he's not available. It's sad because I would have loved to meet the Bearable Bull. They say he actually wears a mask in public and he's got a belt tied around like nobody could rip the mask off. He's a bit. Then we got Ron Partain, Untold History Channel. Okay, on Rumble. I've had at least a half a dozen or so shows with him. We got the who's who of the who's who coming down to teach you about specific things that are here right now. And Trump's kids are yelling and screaming and beating the drum saying, we're going to be known as the crypto nation. We're going to get you healthy. We're going to get you wealthy. Now they started talking about, for example, the IRS, right? They said, oh, okay, anybody who works on tips, no more taxes, anybody who works on tips, right? Then they said, there's no more taxes on anybody who works overtime. Then they said, oh, there's no more taxes on pensions, right? Now, then he goes and does a rally, I believe it was in Miami or something, where he's at today. And he says, you know what? Let's just get rid of the IRS altogether. And the crowd goes wild, right? It's just little increments at a time. Now they're saying, we're going to give everybody a DOGE dividend, $5,000. Did you hear about this?
No, I haven't heard about it. This was today.
Right, today. So what is $5,000? Isn't that associated with that basic income? $5,000.
Yeah.
The breadcrumbs, you got to connect the breadcrumbs. You got to connect the breadcrumbs. You got to connect the bread. You know why? Because we've been studying this shit. This is the stuff I want to learn. If I'm going to send my kid to school, I'd rather send them to YouTube and watch some videos of some really smart people like Joe Rogan and Patrick Bet-David and Alex Jones, because you're going to learn more shit here than sending your kid to school to serve a matrix, which is a bunch of bullshit.
The upcoming Quantum Summit represents a convergence of advanced scientific, technological, and socio-economic paradigms aimed at addressing some of the most pressing and transformative issues of our time. The topics, curated to spark intellectual and practical innovation, include: Number 1, next-generation digital finance systems. Examination of digital assets like XRP, XLM, XDC, and their alignment with the ISO 20022 standard for interoperability and global financial integration. The emergence of gold-backed Basel-compliant tokens, setting a new precedent for asset-backed financial instruments. Discussion of the role of XRP as a potential stablecoin, RLUSD, and its implications of redefining real USD stability. Number 2, currency reevaluation and sound money principles. Insights into potential reevaluation of legacy currencies such as the Iraqi dinar, Vietnamese dong, and Zimbabwe dollar. Advocacy for a gold-backed monetary system and the reintroduction of sound money to stabilize global economies. Number 3, global governance and alliances. Collaboration between Space Force and the Galactic Federation and the so-called White Hats, with a focus on strategic advancements in security and cosmic governance. Exploratory discussion on controversial topics such as flat Earth theories and the hidden realms of the inner Earth. Number 4, Antarctica's mysteries and strategic importance. A scientific investigation into Antarctica's geopolitical and ecological significance, potentially uncovering revolutionary insights. Number 5, revolutionizing public health and environmental policies. Contributions from consultants to the RFK administration on transforming the U.S. food supply, aiming for super organic standards. Addressing the eradication of harmful practices by entities like Monsanto, alongside a comprehensive overhaul of the agricultural system. Number 6, advanced technologies for well-being. Introduction of scalar energy technologies presented by experts. Exploration of holistic modalities such as prospects of these treatments being covered by future insurance policies, signaling a paradigm shift in healthcare accessibility and innovation. Number 7, environmental reformation and atmospheric engineering. Strategies for eliminating chemtrails and fostering ecological balance using advanced technologies and holistic approaches. A transformative experience. This summit promises a rare opportunity to engage with groundbreaking ideas, cutting-edge technologies, and visionary thought leaders. Attendees will leave with unparalleled insights and actionable knowledge, making this event as a pivotal milestone in the journey towards a sustainable, equitable, and enlightened future. Prepare for discussions that challenge conventional narratives and illuminate the path to systemic global transformation.
Yeah. And, that's the other thing you brought it up, and I don't want to digress too much from what we are talking about with the Quantum Summit, but that's next. That's another, we're going after the Department of Education. So that's all going to come tumbling down too. And anybody who, over, I would say, the last couple of decades that have had their kids in school, it's a nightmare. It has been a total nightmare. So it's just happening so fast. And I think with what you're doing with the summit and what we're all going to be doing together, we're going to be uncovering a lot of truths, a lot of information. And I think most importantly, we're going to be looking to the future, like where are we going, as opposed to just looking back and where did we come from and how did we get here? But now the hopefulness and the excitement of moving forward. Now, you mentioned before, and yes, it's true. Amber and I, Victoria, we're going to be working on these panels. Can you talk a little bit about the format of Quantum Summit 2 and what it's going to look like for an attendee who comes and is part of this? How does it look? What is the format we're going to be following?
Well, we have when you walk in, you're gonna have like this huge hallway that walks right through. That could have been a room also, but we're gonna have two rooms to one to the right, one to the left. The middle is gonna be a hallway that brings you into the main room. We decided to have big round tables because we have the room to do that, and so it's gonna be really high end. And the room to the right, room to the left is gonna be for vendors. So if you're a speaker, we give you the table. Literally free of charge. We don't charge you. If you go to a place where there's going to be hundreds of people, I can assure you they're going to charge you probably $500-$600 to have a table there. We're not doing that. Say, okay, you promote us, you get people to come to our Quantum Summit, which is the most important summit here on this hemisphere, and we're going to paint the picture for you on how the future is going to be, and bring your T-shirts, your mugs, whatever it is you sell, your books, and sell it. No worries, no charge. So that's how we're doing that. Then we have a DJ the first night for the gala dinner, and then we have a karaoke outside by the pool party. You don't have to worry about taking the plates off your table. There'll be staff that will literally take the plates off your table. You'll be able to eat all kinds of food. I mean, the gala dinner is New York strip steak with I think it's mashed potatoes, but not the white mashed potatoes, the sweet mashed potatoes,
Potatoes?
with
Okay.
some scallops and some shrimp and some vegetables and yeah, tiramisu and all kinds of desserts. You're gonna have a array of desserts to choose from. Then the other lunches and dinners are all you can eat, unlimited, and it's high end food. It's it's shrimp and scallops and steaks and tortellini and all kinds of stuff. I mean, it's an amazing menu. And I got to put a few things in there for the vegetarians, otherwise they'll kill me, right? Uh, I got Joe Sandoval. I'm sorry, Dave Sandoval coming down, who is the CEO also of Purium. He wrote a very exciting book called The Toxin That Came Home to Dinner, which is a great book to read if you want to understand how poisonous your food really is. This is why when people find out the level of poisoning, how much money they stole from you, the level of enslavement that they put this entire country for the last 150 years, people are going to want blood. There's no question in my mind. People are going to want heads to roll. I know I do, and I know you do. And when you understand the magnitude of quadrillions of dollars missing, because our birth certificates, our social securities have been traded on the open market. We're all worth billions of dollars. If they were to pay that money back, which I don't know, I'm not exactly there yet. And then again, Donald Trump is full of surprises. We don't know what he's going to pull out of his hat next. Okay, so don't put anything past him. But let's say they were to pay us back even half of that. You don't need your XRP because you're all multi-billionaires. You
Yeah.
don't need your gold. You don't need your silver. You don't need your dinars. You don't need anything.
Yeah. And, the thing is that we have started to really ascend, as a collective. I mean, yeah, there's still people that are lagging behind and, but the thing is, versus in the past, people become wealthy now. There's so many more people that want to actually help people and do wonderful things with that money. I mean, even I think about my own journey, maybe 25 years ago, I was thinking if I had all this money, the houses, the cars, the wardrobes, and now it's like, I'm good. What can I do for people? You get frustrated over time, realizing how much you want to do. And that kind of leads me to the next question. Was there a defining moment for you that made you realize that this event was something you had to share, with your viewers, with the community at large, and with the world?
Yeah, look, when it was a success, and I didn't really get all that much help on the first one because and people, when they realize, oh my God, we're going to be talking about the Galactic Federation and XRP and growing tomatoes and potatoes under one roof, there's no way that that's going to work. So I really didn't get a lot of collaboration on the first one. And so it was all based on how much can Mel Carmine produce? And I hit it out of the park with almost 400 attendees. And I think this one will be at least that, if not more. Uh, Look, at the end of the day, I wish that we would have we got some collaboration, obviously, from you and Victoria and Michael Jaco and Digital Outlook and
Mike
Jim
Barrow.
Gale. Yeah, with Mike Barra, Laura Eisenhower, Kerry Cassidy hit it out of the park. She's been pushing us like crazy. I wish that I could say that for everybody. I can't. It's sad because everybody thinks that I'm trying to steal your fan base. Let me tell you something. Mel Carmine is popular enough. I don't need to. Listen, there's gonna be a point where I'm gonna sail off into the sunset, and you guys may not even know where I'm at. I might do maybe a show maybe once every 2 weeks at melcarmine.com, and it's gonna be like a $5.88 subscription that I donate the money somewhere because I don't need the money, and that's all. It's sad the way a lot of people think, unfortunately. But the reality is, if everybody had the cross pollination mentality, okay, because there's gonna be people on your show, Elisa, that don't know me, and vice versa. There's gonna be people on my show that don't know you, and people they're gonna think you're simpatica, and they're gonna think that I'm simpatico, right? And they're gonna follow you. Some of your people will follow me. It all comes out in the wash, and it builds a very healthy ecosystem, right? Obviously, not everybody's on that page because we're still in high school. We haven't graduated yet. That's why the extraterrestrials haven't fully landed yet, because they realize that, we've got still a lot of growing up to do. Okay. There's a place in Australia called Pine Gap. Okay. And there's places in Sedona, Arizona that are literally, what do you call those
Vortexes?
things? No, vortexes.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, where you literally walk through a certain object and you're gone. You're in Pine Gap, Australia, in literally 2.2 nanoseconds. And the great Robert Dean said this on Kerry Cassidy's show. He says when you're dealing with humans, you need a place where you can go where you're far away from them because you need rest and relaxation. And I thought that was funny.
Yeah.
It's so true. So we've got a lot of growing up to do. I love it when people say, "Oh, I'm graduating into the fourth dimension." Listen, we're worry about getting to the second dimension first. Then let's talk about getting to the fourth dimension. You got to get to the third before you get to the fourth, right? But people talk a lot of nonsense, and they're really humanity has got a long, long way to go. I wish that everybody can get up to where you and I are at, because this is not about the money for us. This is about getting all the evil eradicated. This is about bringing the dirt back to pristine levels like it was 3,000 years ago. This is about breathing in most pristine air that we could possibly breathe. This is about living to be thousands of years old, not 1,000, but thousands, okay, healthy. This is about if there's a space, great, let's go explore the space. If there isn't a space and we're supposedly there's some kind of, what do they call that thing? A
The
firmament?
firmament.
A
Yeah.
firmament, great, wonderful. Let's see what's on the other side of the ice wall. Let's go hang out in Antarctica. Let's see what's in the inner Earth. Let's go exploring. I want to know what the fuck is out there, right?
Yeah. I know. So, all right. So for, anybody who hasn't yet gotten their tickets that's watching this, I can't implore you enough. It's going to be a great event. As Mel just said, you just explained to everyone, this is top shelf. There are the most amazing speakers. We're going to have panels whereby we're putting different people together that either are on the same page or the same subject, if you will, or cross pollinate those panels to make it interesting. We're going to have guest speakers that are going to, get up and give their own presentation about the subjects that they are most, educated about. And then we're going to have the wonderful thing about the gala. And you said, Mel, that's Friday night. That's the
Yeah,
Saturday night, excuse
yeah,
me.
that's
That's
the
the
very
first
first
night.
night. Exactly. We're gonna have a DJ with 5,000 watts, a light system. It's
Wow.
gonna be great music, and I'll tell you what, you won't be sitting down much. You're gonna be dancing a lot. There's gonna be a lot of great music, like what's that guy Pitbull? Like that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that kind of music. I have a whole. I said, hey, I sent the DJ. I said, "Can you play this kind of music?" He said, "Yes, I got a bunch of that." Okay, great, let's go. And he charged me a fair price. I'm going to pay him on site. But it's going to be fun. It's not just about learning a bunch of stuff that where we see the planet going. It's also about celebrating because we destroyed the New World Order, and Elon Musk along with Donald Trump. It's like the most it's like a wrecking ball on it's like a human wrecking ball on steroids because he's backed up by a guy that's worth $350 billion. He doesn't know what to do with his money.
Yeah. And
You
then
know what I
you
mean?
add the RFK factor into it, right? And you got all the bases covered. But what I love about the gala is that it's a time to have fun and celebrate, but anybody who is following people and you're going to have an opportunity to hang out, have a drink, talk to these people human to human,
Yeah,
not
these
not
speakers,
blocked with a screen, right? You could just kind of chat and
exactly.
talk and dance and have fun. And
Yeah, you could actually dance with the speakers.
exactly,
Dancing
exactly.
with the Stars. Here, you'll dance with the speakers. Okay. So yeah, so all the speakers will be at the gala dinner. So if you have a gala dinner, you'll get to hang out with guys like Tom Althouse, and he'll tell you the story one on one on how he got ripped off. And they do it all the time. It's nothing new. I mean, like he was telling me stuff off camera about Keanu Reeves that will curl your blood, literally. I
Is
mean,
this part of what he's going to talk about at the summit? He's going to give.
yeah, he's going to talk about some stuff
Oh,
that we can only probably talk about at the summit.
okay,
Yeah.
okay.
So and yeah, look, the funny thing the funny thing is that people think that okay, we're going to celebrate. Yeah, we won the New World Order. No, we did win the New World Order, we still got a ways to go. We know where all the bodies are buried. We know all the money they stole. We're breaking into the IRS next. Where they're flooding right now, Kentucky, where Fort Knox is.
Yes.
They're flooding it because they don't want to go. They want to slow the whole thing down because there's no gold there. They're flying in the gold from the Vatican. They're flying in the gold from the UK. They're flying in the gold from all over the world, and it's landing at the Federal Reserve in New York. That's where it's sitting. Okay, and they're waiting for the right time under the cover of darkness to deliver, 9,600 bars. Say, see, we told you we have the gold. They're staging it. Okay, but I'm telling you, they're going to find literally trillions and trillions of people. They're walking into these departments, and people's tongues are getting twisted. You know why? Because they are guilty as charged.
Yeah.
There's no reason for your tongue to twist. Okay, unless you are guilty. How the hell did you make $79 million or $178 million when you're only getting paid $220,000 a year for the last 40 years?
That's a
Can
great
you explain
question.
that?
That's a
Can you
great
explain
question.
that? Sit down, explain that to me, please. And if you can't explain it, and once we get the big balls, the guys called big balls that are super hacker computer guys that are handling quantum computers on steroids, and no Chuck Schumer and pencil neck geek with the watermelon head, whatever his name is, they don't have access.
Shift.
Yeah, Shifty Schiff. They don't have access to smart guys like Elon Musk. Elon Musk has got $330 million. That buys you the best 330 billion or 350 billion. That buys you the best hackers in the world like that. Okay. And he's got them. There's 100 of them. And they're working with super fast computers that are running circles around these fucking bozos. And they're all going to get caught. And the American people, when they learn the truth, you know what's going to happen? They're going to demand that heads will roll. These are treasonous crimes of the highest order, and the only punishment here is death. And, I hate to tell you, but can you go back to watching Monday Night Football? The answer is yes. Can you not pay attention like we did for the last 50 years? No, you can't do that. Yeah. Complacency has no place in America ever again. Because if we allow this to happen one more time, I'm sorry to say we deserve exactly what we're going to get.
Yeah. So your passion is unbelievable. I mean, it always has been. How do you personally stay inspired? What is it that just inspires you to just keep moving forward with all this and just having a summit and pulling people together? I mean, you've worked 26 hours a day on this, right? You've invested your own money in this summit because your belief is so high. So how do you keep, there's challenges. We just talked about some of the challenges, right? It's like if anybody's ever planned a wedding, multiply that by 10, a big Italian wedding, and then multiply it by 10. That's what you're dealing with a very, very small staff, one-arm paper hanger, you and Amber. So what keeps you inspired in spite of all that and motivated?
What keeps me inspired is the fact that we are giving the little people, and I'm a little people myself, okay? I'm not a big guy. I'm big maybe in weight, yeah. I have trouble with my weight because I like to eat a lot, you know what I mean? But I'm Italian. I want to take over the world, but I want to sit down and eat first, right? So, but the reality is this. To be able to be in a position like myself to build this, database of hundreds of thousands of people worldwide, to tell the little people, say, hey, pay attention. Go watch the videos at QFS1776.com. When you get to number 9 down at the bottom, make sure you read the document, which is called the Sarge's Art. It's the original document. We're going to have that made into audiobook. Anybody who's coming at the Quantum Summit gets that as an audiobook. Okay. And then you invest. And then you understand that this is a waiting game. And we know that now finally we got the right guy in office, and his kids are yelling and screaming crypto. Okay. And we're bringing in the smartest people in the world to come and work in the United States in the crypto arena. Why? Because now we can bring in the people the right way, not the wrong way, like down in Mexico. All right. The fact that Donald Trump wants to take over Panama, Mexico, Greenland, Australia. He's going to take over the world. This guy's not playing. Okay. The fact that Americans are going to become the healthiest, the wealthiest people. You think the rest of the nations are going to sit by the sideline and say, Americans are living to be 250 years old and they're all wealthy and they're all driving or they're all flying Lamborghinis. We're not going to be driving anymore. We'll be flying Lamborghinis, not driving, okay? Only the idiots will be driving. I'll be flying one. Anyway, long story short is you think they're going to say, no, this is contagious. This is a domino. The domino that was supposed to fall this way fell the other way and backfired on them. This is America. This is a $900 trillion domino, and it backfired on them. They thought if we could knock this domino down, we could bring the entire world into communism, and they failed. And so here we are. Donald Trump is in charge of everything, and little guys like me and Jason Shirka and Senator Mark Finch and all these people, they all own XRP, all of them. People say, Mel, I own XRP because of you.
Yeah,
that's great. I had a lady donate some money to us. She said, Mel, you don't understand. She's from Canada. She just sent the wire in today. She said, you don't understand. She goes, I became a multimillionaire. XRP is $2.70. And she's a multimillionaire.
Wow.
Because she went to my broker. Because people see, oh, how much does your broker charge, Mel? The same as everybody else. Except the only thing is when you call Uphold, nobody answers the phone. When you send an email to Coinbase, nobody will ever answer you. No customer service. You want customer service? You pay the same amount. You call me. You got 10,000, 20,000. I got a guy call me this morning. It's great when you wake up in the morning and you got a guy that says, hey, I'm selling my farm. I got $500,000 coming in. How much do you think I should invest? I said, do you have income? Do you have a pension? Do you have a cash flow coming in? What do your expenses look like? And we start having a conversation. I said, personally, me, I would put at least 350,000. Guess what he's doing? He's putting 350,000. I'm not a financial advisor, but he understands that this pizza guy, this ex-pizzeria impresario, is potentially one of the smartest pizzeria impresarios he's ever going to meet. If there's anybody out there that would like to take a bet in Las Vegas whether Mel Carmine is going to become a billionaire, you better take that bet because that's a sure bet. You understand? So these people see the writing on the wall. They say, this guy's on a mission, and he's going to take a bunch of people with him. You betcha. And I heard that the cabal doesn't like me because every time I take a little guy who buys $10,000 worth of XRP or $1 million worth of XRP, and I've had people who buy $5 million worth of XRP, and they're all repeat offenders. They go back to the broker 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 times. Right?
Yeah.
You know what? It makes me happy. You know why? Because now we got firepower, baby. We got a bunch of people that are going to be billionaires that are on my team. Don't fuck with us, bitches, because we're going to have a fucking a truckload of lawyers following us wherever we go. If you look us the wrong way, we're going to sue you into oblivion. Your kids, your grandkids, grandkids are going to be paying my grandkids. Don't mess with us. We're the new sheriffs in town, baby. Get used to it.
So what would be the key takeaway or message that you hope attendees at the Quantum Summit leave with? What do you want them to really get out of it?
I want them to leave and say, Mel is right. The flying cars are coming. I can't believe that he's right. And then a year or two down the road, because Donald Trump has been caught on videotape. And I cornered a guy that's very hard to corner, a guy by the name of Juan Salvin that you guys like to break his balls all the time. And let me tell you, not to get off track here, I'll get back on track. I have to say this. Stop breaking his balls. Okay? The guy is very, very smart. The guy is responsible, him and 8 other guys back in the 80s are responsible for breaking up Russia into little fucking pieces. He's a very high intelligent spy that works for the United States fucking government. He had to sign a non-disclosure agreement this big. And if he talks clearly like you and I, he gets one behind the ear. You understand? Gabish? Okay? So he can't talk the way you and I talk. He's got to talk in long, and you got to figure it out. And if you don't have the horsepower to figure it out, that's your problem. Okay, now what was the question?
I was asking you what the takeaway that you want people to leave the summit with, this year.
Well, look, when we open up your mind and make you believe that it is possible, you're going to leave there. You're probably going to need to, go relax somewhere. I mean, go down. There's a place down the street called Staying Alive. Okay, you might want to go book a session and just meditate for about 3 hours. Okay, go hang out on some extraterrestrial technology and get your cells back in order, because your mind is going to explode, because it is all possible. We should have done it 20 years ago. We should have done it 30 years ago, but somebody else has been in charge. And nobody is asking the question, why are we driving the extension of a Model T Ford 125 fucking years later? Nobody, except for me.
Well, few of us, right? We know
I'm tired of sitting in traffic. Oh, we got to fix the road. The roads are going to be landing pads for my flying Lamborghini.
We're gonna have lots of grass. We're not gonna need roads anymore.
Yeah. I'll tell you, it's funny. I took my wife out. We're doing a annual ritual. I got married to Amber on Valentine's Day. This way, I only got to buy her one gift. So, and we go with my good friend Drew, who's a very well-to-do lady in town in Cape Canaveral. She's awesome. I love her. And Drew is smart. She's like, her and my mom would be like freaking frack. My mom is very sharp. She's very sharp. They would be like two peas in a pod in about 12 seconds. I go into the sushi place and I said, "Can I pay you in silver?" Right?
Yeah.
They said, "No, we want real money." You're not. This is the problem. You see what I'm saying? This is why you need to come to the Quantum Summit, so you can learn about carminesgold.com. Oh, Mel, you're just trying to make money. I'm going to make money regardless.
Yeah.
Whether you buy it or not, someone else will. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you want to buy $1,000 worth of gold? You want to buy $100,000 worth of silver? You want to buy 5 million? I've had those customers too. I won't tell you who. I don't want to give it away. But I've had a friend of mine who's very, very wealthy. They deliver boxes and boxes. She goes, "Mel, I don't have any more fucking room in my basement." You know what I mean? Okay, what a problem to have.
Yeah, that's a big problem.
Okay, she's got like 9 safes completely full to the brim with freaking silver and gold.
Wow.
And she's got a lot of firepower, so don't mess with her.
Yeah.
Don't mess with her.
And I'm glad you said that, because there's a lot of people who can't afford to have safes and safes of silver and gold. But whatever your means are, there's a way to get part of that. It doesn't mean that you can't participate in some way. I don't have the means to have safes and safes, but I did what I could and I invested in.
Do what I do. Go put it in the middle of the woods. Go find some freaking what do you call those, self-storage places? Don't say nothing. Bolt a safe to the ground. Keep your mouth shut and store it until they call your number.
Right. But it's just a call to everyone, like you said, the little guy. There's room for everyone in this movement, and there's room for everyone. Whatever you're like, I just don't want people to be discouraged because maybe they say, "Oh, I don't have millions," or "I don't have 10,000." A lot of us don't, but these are opportunities to kind of jump into in whatever way you can, and these things are going to pay off in one way or another. So yeah, I just want to, because a lot of people that will be coming to the summit are just average people,
Yeah.
and we want them to feel just as empowered to be able to be part of everything.
I've watched people go from being zeros to going to heroes. I've seen busboys. Okay, I'll tell you some of the opportunities that I've missed in my lifetime that I should have jumped on and I didn't. But these are all life lessons. I did very well in the pizzeria industry. I've done very well. I've traveled extensively. I've seen a lot of the world. I've seen a lot of what most people will never get to see. But the reality is, I watched busboys, for example, during during the housing boom, get into literally a busboy that worked at a place called Porterhouse in Miami. It's still there in Sunny Isles, still called Porterhouse. I saw this kid open up a mortgage brokerage firm. He had 20, 30 people working for him. And next thing you know, he's driving a Lamborghini.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting drinking $7 coffees at Starbucks watching this shit. I'm saying, fuck, that kid? Really? See, I missed that one. Then the .com came. Google, Facebook, Amazon, All of them. I just didn't. I wasn't. I don't know stocks. I never played the stock. I played the stock market one time. You're gonna laugh. I bought. I bought a penny stock for a penny and a half. I bought like $3,700 worth. It went to 25 cents. I sold it all. I went on a cruise and I spent all the money. I was out. I was gone for like a month and a half. I made sure there was no money left. I came back and I went back to making pizzas because I was young and
Yeah.
stupid,
Well, you weren't stupid.
right?
You hadn't lived enough
Right.
to garner
So
more
I
wisdom.
missed all of it. Then came Bitcoin. I knew about Bitcoin when it was 0.0008 of a penny for a dollar. You can get 800 Bitcoins for $1. And my brother, who him and I have had an on and off relationship, my brother, unfortunately, and I say this publicly because and he's probably watching he's probably going to watch my show. I know he watches my show. And his wife wears the pants in the house. His wife is the one that put a wedge between his family and my family because my brother doesn't have the cojones to know how to put his wife where she belongs, right? He was going to call me and tell me that, hey, we should get into Bitcoin when it was like, 85 cents. We should get into mining Bitcoin. Back then, you could buy equipment. Each machine was mining, 10, 12, 15 Bitcoins a day.
Wow.
If he would have called me, I would have figured out exactly how many machines we need. I would have really dove into it, got learned, and I would have filled up his fucking basement with machines. I would have machines hanging from the fucking ceiling, right? Didn't happen. So I missed that one. Now, years later, I get involved with Omnia, a multi-level marketing company. We mined three Bitcoins successfully. And after my wife woke me up when XRP was 9 years ago, uh, she said, it's not Bitcoin, it's XRP. So we started to buy XRP, and then we took those three Bitcoins in the last bull run, and we sold one at 14, one at 16, one at 18,000. I forget the exact number. It was really high. We didn't get the top of the market, but we sold them and bought XRP.
Okay.
So we accumulated. So I missed everything except for the final one,
Yep.
XRP, the final Bitcoin 5.0 on steroids, because Bitcoin doesn't work. Bitcoin doesn't transact. Oh, it's a store value. Yeah, everybody's got to store it. If people don't follow those rules, it's never going to go. It's like if nobody ever sells Bitcoin, yeah, it's going to go up and up and up because there's a limited supply. But what does Bitcoin do besides nothing? Nothing. 3 transactions a minute, Lightning Network. 100,000 times they tried to fix it. They can't fix it. Now, oh, yeah, we're going to wrap it with XRP. That means somebody else has got to take the hit and pay you in XRP. And the guy that's getting the Bitcoin is going to take the hit either up or down. Okay. It's a bullshit game. It's not going to work. Bitcoin is finished. Once the tether moves to South America or Central America, wherever it is they're moving, and they're no longer going to be able to use it to pump up the Bitcoin, Bitcoin goes to zero. That's not financial advice. That's my opinion. Anybody who's smart out there, because I'll tell you right now, I will tell you this in no uncertain terms. The people who are involved in this digital asset game, the guys specifically, like who will be on stage with us, like the Black Swan brothers, okay, Versan and Vandell, they know how that thing works underneath the hood. And there's a lot of Vandells and there's a lot of Versans out there. And we are by far the smartest people in the digital asset world. XRP is very complex. Not everybody's going to understand it. Not everybody's going to learn how to explain it properly. These guys do. I'm more like a a pep rally guy. Yeah, buy it. It's going to go up because I listen to these guys. I can't do what they do because they know how to explain it because they're smart. They're younger kids. I'm 61. I'm an old fart, right? But the reality is these kids, when you learn from them and you understand the mechanics and how this thing works, there's no doubt. Unless we get hit with a nuclear bomb, who cares? We get hit with a nuclear bomb, we're all dead anyway, right?
Right.
At least we're going to die trying. But I think this planet survives. I think we're not going to get hit with the nuclear bomb. The only nuclear bomb I'm going to get hit with is a lot of cash.
Yeah.
You know,
Hopefully
so
we're teaching other people how to, how to participate in that and become abundant and, learn more and more and more so we can
yeah,
all help each other, right? That's kind of
exactly.
the game.
Yeah,
Um, So let's talk for 2 minutes about staying alive because people that are coming down to the area, going to the summit, they have the opportunity to go to staying alive, get hit with the scalar waves, rejuvenate themselves, right? Tell everyone how they do that.
Yeah, absolutely. Staying alive with two E's at the end. We got incredible packages. You could, if you, for those of you who are staying an extra 4 days, 5 days, we got the best weather in March anyway. You might want to, some people are staying and they're going on a cruise right after the Quantum Summit, which is maybe we'll do that maybe for Quantum Summit Part 3. Hint,
That would
hint.
be really cool, Mel. That would be
You
super
know,
cool.
yeah, Quantum Summit Part 3 at sea, right?
Yeah.
But anyway, that would be really cool. But basically, it's a field, just like this is a field, except this is a very bad field. This is the kind of field that will kill you, okay? Because the guys who invented this technology, they're all invested in what? Pharmaceuticals.
Yeah.
We have a lady who's a pharmaceutical coming down. Her name is Layla, Dr. Layla. Dr.
Layla
Layla,
Ali. Yeah.
right? You were interviewed already?
I'm interviewing her Monday.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
Dr. Layla is a pharmacist, and she'll tell you why those things are no good. Okay. So the people who are invested in the pharmaceuticals give you this. And if this thing keeps you sick, and it does, then you have to buy what? Their pharmaceuticals. You see how it's a vicious game that they put together? They could have made this work on rife frequency technology that it could actually heal you while you're talking to somebody. Wouldn't that be something?
That would be really cool.
It's coming.
Yeah.
It's coming. There's gonna be a day where you're gonna say, "Oh my God, that fucking bald-headed asshole said it 5 years ago that they're gonna have phones that heal you
Yeah.
and reverse whatever."
Yeah. There's so much. I mean, you can't even 6,000 patents. That's a lot. It would be really interesting to
What's
see
in
what
those
it is.
6,000 patents? If we want to know, we're capitalists. We like to capitalize.
Yeah.
You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
So I'm going to be, I'm going to be spending a couple of nights. I wish I could
Yeah.
spend more, but I'm going to be coming down early, spending a couple of nights
Yes.
at Staying Alive. I can't wait. I had the opportunity over the summer. I came down and I spent just 2 hours because that was all my
Right.
schedule, but it was wonderful. So,
Yeah, and Patrick Riley, by the way, is going to be there. Last year, Patrick Riley gave everybody the plans on how to build your own free energy motor in your garage with parts you could get where? At Home Depot.
wow.
Okay, and he's coming again this year. Okay, so and this guy, he's got that savant. What's that disease that something savant?
Idiot Savant. Oh, I don't
Clairvoyant
know.
savant. I don't know. It's a weird name. He'll tell you when he's there. I can't remember all these things, but
So
anyway,
he's basically a genius.
yeah, he got injured in his head, and instead of becoming stupid, he became really smart,
Wow.
and he became a genius. Like he never built an engine or a transmission. After this accident, he could literally take an entire engine and put it back together, a transmission apart, put it back together, and it works flawlessly. And he never went to school to be a mechanic.
Wow.
He became mechanically inclined, which is one thing that I'm not, by the way. If I got a flat tire, I got to call AAA.
So Mel, okay, so tell me what you see, if you see, and how you see the Quantum Summit evolving in the future and what's
Well,
next.
my wife said to me this morning, if you ever do another one of these, I'm out.
Oh no. Oh no. You want
Yeah.
to mess with Amber.
Yeah. She's like, it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
And I don't know, maybe the next one, we're just going to do it at sea and maybe charge nothing. And everybody just buys their ticket to come on the cruise. And we could all get fat like pigs for a week and a half or whatever and eat all kinds of crazy foods, hopefully clean foods this time, right?
Yep.
With no poisons. And go hang out at sea, go hang out in the Bahamas and go hang out in, St. Lucia, whatever, right? Wouldn't that
Yep.
be different? That would be a different twist with a bunch of speakers like that come along for the ride.
That's a great idea.
Yeah. The
Think
only
that-
thing I could tell you is this, that as much as I hate to admit it, the Quantum Summit 1776.com is becoming a brand. People know what it is. Even people that know that maybe they can't make it because they have other engagements or whatever the case may be, they know what it is. And it's becoming a brand. So the entrepreneur in me says, Mel, you're crazy to give it up. And my wife is saying, "Don't do it. I'm out."
Well, maybe it's done in a different way, and maybe there's more help, and maybe, like you said, it's done in a way that does not require as much work. I know that Mike Barrow was saying he wanted to have the Quantum Summit West, right? He wanted to do something in Las
Yeah,
Vegas. So
yeah,
you're right, you're building a brand. And one of the things I think that's so key is that I would love to see more international influx, into this movement with the Quantum Summit, more people from
yeah.
Australia, New Zealand, and some of these patriots all over the world. Maybe that's what we look, maybe the Quantum Summit at Sea is something that we do.
Or maybe in 2030 we are going to have our flying cars that could do Mach 34 because they work under a different, different what do you call it? What's that subject?
Technology or just
Physics,
physics.
different physics, right?
Yeah.
And we could all get into our flying Lamborghinis that do Mach 34 and say, okay, we're going to do it in Australia. And we could all be there in 5 minutes because we're doing Mach 34, right? And, obviously, senators like, Mel, you can't go Mach 34. You'll burn up in the atmosphere. I gotta call him to the side and have that conversation and say, brother, this is like a vacuum. It just sucks you like real fast speed. You're not burning up in the atmosphere. It works with magnetic propulsion, right? A lot of people don't really grasp. And even though he's a senator, that doesn't mean he knows everything about everything. They don't really grasp how. Oh, Mel, people are going to get into accidents. No, they're not going to get into accidents because this is going to be there's going to be like virtual highways in the sky that you can't see, and it's all going to be run on artificial intelligence that you don't understand, just like you don't understand how your engine works.
Right.
If
And
the
and
water,
it's
if
all
the
in the
water,
movies.
yeah,
We've seen it all. So where are those concepts coming from, right?
yeah, if the water pump in your car, for example, breaks down, do you know how to fix it? I know I don't,
Absolutely not.
right? But you know the concept of the water pump so that the engine doesn't freeze. You might know that, but you don't
I don't
know how to
even know
take it.
that.
Right. You know what I mean? It's like, who cares? But this
Yeah.
is, you're going to have yachts that are going to have a propulsion system, for example, that is no moving parts, no belts, no oil, no water pumps, no hoses, none of this nonsense.
Yeah.
And it's going to have a symbiotic relationship with your brain because at some point we will become telepathic and you'll say, okay, we are in Sardinia right now, yacht, and I want you to go to Australia. And it takes you there. Oh, we got bad weather. It'll lift out of the ground and it will literally hover until the weather gets bad, or maybe we'll be able to fly that yacht at 100 miles an hour in a place where the weather's good, and then just continue on your journey. You see what I'm saying? It's
Yeah.
all coming. It's all possible. Everything they sold to you in the movies as science fiction, 98.8889% of that is science fact.
Yep. I would agree with you 100%. So we've got a lot of exciting things. So anyway, I am so excited to be
Yeah,
coming.
the thing that they really hate is the fact that we are about to discover all of the secrets of the universe. We're about to discover the fact that we could live a long time. Yes, we could fly at Mach 34. Yes, we could have food that allows us to live, breathe, drink, and eat food that allows us to live to be 3,000 years old. And at some point, we will also conquer immortality, not to mention the fact that we will conquer all disease. That's what's coming. That's what they're afraid of. All their Ponzi schemes are all coming down one by one, and they are panicking because they're getting caught because nobody knows where the money, how did you make $122 million when you're making $180,000 a year? Oh,
Yeah.
your tongue is getting twisted. Does that mean you're guilty? I believe so. And it's all coming. And you're seeing this movie, and we're watching the movie. You and I understand the movie. You know that Kamala Harris is not Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris was done away years ago. You know that Joe Biden is either an actor, a clone, or a little bit of both. When they have to give the actor a break, they bring in the clone. When they have to give the clone a break, they bring in the actor. Okay. And we're watching the movie that you and I understand, but they're playing the movie out for who? The normies. The movie's not for you. The movie's for the normies.
And
Because
it's frustrating. It gets very
it's
frustrating.
like, oh yeah, we caught Joe Biden. He stole, $8 trillion. We got to bring him down to Guantanamo Bay. They're bringing down the clone to pacify who? The normie.
Yeah.
See?
Yeah.
And we're not nuts. We're nuts like foxes. That's how nuts we are.
Yeah. Well, this is going to be a great event. Anything else you want to add
I
about the
think
event?
we're good. I think we covered everything.
I did
Get
too.
your XRP. If you need a broker, contact me, qfs1776.com. Nothing less than 10,000. There's no maximum. If you have $10 million, can your broker do $10 million, Mel? Yes, with ease.
Yeah. And please get your tickets. The more people we get down to the
Yes.
summit, it's going to be an amazing celebration. I'm going to be one of your co-MCs. We're going to have a blast. There's nothing stuffy about this event. It's going to be fun. It's going to be exciting. So we look forward to seeing
Yeah.
you there. And Mel, thanks for this opportunity to turn the tables and interview you.
I appreciate it. I'll tell you one last thing before we go. I have to add this. A lot of people call me and say, Mel, I want to invest $50 million into XRP. I said, and sometimes I forget because normally I always ask in the beginning, I said, how are you getting the money, right? And this guy like this morning, yeah, I'm selling my farm. Okay, great. One guy, I'm talking to him for like 40 minutes, finding out 40 minutes later, oh, I'm waiting for the RV, and when the RV gets here, then I'm going to give you 40 million. No, when the RV gets here, XRP is going to be worth like $92,000.
Right.
You understand? So that doesn't work that way. So when this happens, it's going to happen in quick succession, one at a time, real fast. When the dinars go, the XRP goes, or if the XRP goes first, the dinars go second. But it's going to happen in quick succession. So if you that's how you think you could buy a lot of XRP, do not call me. You won't qualify. But if you got real cash or monopoly cash, whatever, while it's still got its value, yeah, it could be QFS1776 at gmail.com and put in I need to invest 10,000 or more in XRP in the subject line, and then I will call you personally and I will screen the call and then I will send you over to the broker.
Perfect. And remember, it's quantumsummit1776.com to get tickets and to find out more and to see the amazing roster of speakers that are going to be there. So we'll see you on March 8th and 9th. And thanks again, Mel.
Thank you. This is great.
Okay.
Talk to you
Bye-bye.
guys on the next one.
Hi, Elisa V here. Did you know that medical bills are the leading cause of bankruptcy in the United States, accounting for 66.5% of bankruptcies? In fact, in 2022, 17% of adults with healthcare debt either declared bankruptcy or lost their homes due to it. We can all agree that the healthcare system is broken. Well, there is an alternative that I want to tell you about. It is Impact Health Sharing, which Yahoo News is calling the disruptor in the $4.6 trillion healthcare system. With Impact Health Sharing, you can choose the doctors, clinics, and naturopaths that you want with less restrictive guidelines. Medical bills are reduced to their fair market value, and premiums are 30 to 72% cheaper than competitors. Plus, Impact Health incentivizes healthy habits like supplements, gym visits, and therapy. Call 844-275-1056 and use the code Mel Carmine for a free quote today.